Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I am very excited to be bringing to you a Nina Park inspired makeup look. Now Nina Park is another fabulous celebrity makeup artist who just blesses the world with her very natural, gorgeous looks all over the red carpet. It seems like she touches everybody's face. She's done Zoe Kravitz, Sadie Sink, Emma Stone, Greta. Oh my gosh, the makeup looks that she's done on Greta have been positively divine. And there's a few things that are signature to a Nina Park makeup look, and one of them being like a black eyeliner. It seems like she does this gorgeous little tight black eyeliner on every single person, super natural, like barely there, undetectable skin, very glowing skin, kind of that doll-like blush placement, and just really enhancing natural features, which we love to see. And so many makeup artists do that in their beautiful red carpet looks. It's kind of like taking the person and enhancing their beauty, just like taking a little enhanced filter. So that seems to be what Nina Park loves to do. And I just have to toss this out there that I had the divine pleasure of sitting next to Nina Park at a dinner once. So Nina, shout out to you. She was the nicest, most humble person alive. She was also a Chanel makeup artist slash ambassador. I'm not sure if she still is, but kind of like a lot of the makeup artists, the celeb makeup artists will do collaborations with brands. Some of them will be a brand ambassador and kind of do all of the looks using those products. So depending on the red carpet, the sponsorship, the celebrity that they're working with, maybe the celebrity is an ambassador for a brand, like it kind of just, it's tough. It's tough out there to find the products that they love. And I'll say that especially with Nina Park, because she posts so many beautiful looks on her Instagram and gives us nothing, tags nothing, unless it's like a sponsored post. She did one like Fido makeup brand once. That was one of the Greta looks. It was gorgeous, but I'm like, is that what you're using? Is it indeed? But yeah, on every single one of her posts, all the comments will be like, Nina, please, what is the eyeliner? What is this lip? What is this blush? It's just crickets, nothing. So we're simply going to be inspired today by using the products that we already have, which I think is a great thing to practice. We don't need to run out and buy all of the fabulous new things every time a makeup look and a photo is posted, but I decided to pull out some of the products that I think would be Nina Park improved and try and create a makeup look very much inspired by her. Now there's a few looks in particular that I really love. One of the looks that she did on Greta was for a Tron premiere, and it's just like, oh my god, it's so perfect. I mean, her skin is insane. Like there's no way that I could duplicate this skin, but just kind of that really natural lived-in glow. And then Sadie Sink, a few of her makeup looks that she had throughout the Stranger Things premieres and red carpets. I really loved that like bright white inner corner mixed with the little tight line black eyeliner. I think that's so nice and so clean. Also, I don't use a lot of black eyeliner, so it'd be a fun way to practice that and see if we can recreate a similar looking lip. So let's go ahead, let's dive into the Nina Park universe. Now, I wasn't able to find too many like articles or videos or anything of Nina Park that were very recent. She did like a huge multi-video campaign with Net-a-Porter at one point and was kind of, it was actually really cool. It was like going in her living room and showing like her very beautifully organized makeup stash and collection in her living room. But like most celebrity makeup artists, she focused a lot on skin prep. And anytime we've done a kind of like makeup artist tips or like a masterclass inspired video, usually they will do the skin prep beforehand and let it sit and make sure that it has time to soak in. So I've gone ahead and done my skincare obviously prior to this. A lot of makeup artists will use their hands to do a little facial massage. They'll do masks, like do a full thing. And I think that takes up most of the time when they're doing a celebrity client. It's like they do like an hour of skin prep and like sheet masks and face masks and steam. Like I've seen it all. So use your discretion. If you wanted to get a little facial before an extra sweet pampering, go ahead and do that. We're just living with our usual skin prep today. I've got my face moisturizer on and we're gonna go straight into the base. If Nina Park, I don't know if she's used this, but I think if she did, it would be very much Nina Park approved, and it's the Lisa Eldridge Skin Tint. This is super light, barely there. Like the most natural finish that you could possibly come up with, this would be it. And normally I apply this straight to my face, but to try and make it as natural and light as possible today, I'm going to apply it on the back of my hand, and I'm going to do a priming the brush method as per Katie Jane Hughes and use this to just apply the softest amount possible. This is the new Rephr Shodo 05 brush. I haven't actually used it yet, but a lot of makeup artists who have been in the business for a long time, it's kind of funny. They'll either apply a product like this with their fingers, or they use a really soft brush, or a lot of them still use kind of like paint style paddle paddle brushes, and it's always very interesting to see, but this one is like a lot softer and fluffier, very soft bristles, and so you're gonna get like the lightest amount of coverage possible. And I love filming these videos because it's always a good reminder to use less. No matter how many times I have filmed like makeup artist inspired makeup looks, following along with tutorials, trying to go slow and apply little layers at a time. Whenever I do my own makeup, I literally just like pour it on my face and it's like, and you end up wasting a lot of product. You end up using a lot of product that you don't need. And when you're doing this super light, barely there, undetectable method to applying your base, it just always ends up being the most natural, like no makeup style. And every time I do it, I'm like, oh, why don't I do this more? This looks so good. And even now I've just applied the lightest, like truly the lightest layer of that skin tint. And I'm like, wow, it's done something. It's like put this kind of undetectable veil all over my skin, but I literally can't see it. There's no visible separation between my skin and this product, but it's just done something. The tiniest little hint of coverage ever, and it kind of brings it all together, which is nice, and you just end up using less. So we could go in and do another layer if we want, but I don't think we need to. And then once we do the rest of the base, we can go ahead and apply more coverage as needed. So in these looks, she's using something so light for the contour, like it's really barely there. And I'm often reminded of like face palettes. A lot of makeup artists will kind of depot all of their products or pump their foundations or use cream foundations and put them in a little face palette. It reminds me of the old like Bobbi Brown face palette. I don't even know if they still have that anymore, but a lot of makeup artists will just kind of dip in and use multiple shades as well. So if we wanted to, we could even go in with a deeper shade of the skin tint and use that to kind of do a little bit of subtle contouring. So the first shade that I used was the shade 4, and I can then go in with shade 6 and just use that to add a little bit more coverage around the outer edges. And even though it will be like barely detectable IRL, it's like you're using that deeper shade to just so subtly and naturally contour around the face and also address the fact that there are different shades around your face. Hung Bango actually did a really fabulous video on that recently that I was watching, and I just thought it was interesting. And even in like this photo in particular of Sadie Sink, it looks like she just has that barely there contour just around the perimeter of her face. So I want to do something similar to that. I'm going to use the Victoria Beckham Travertine contour pencil. I don't know how this is going to work actually with this big fluffy brush. I'm going to try it. We'll see how it goes, but I want to just take my same brush that I used for my skin tint and just use that to apply the contour so lightly on the perimeter of my face, just around my forehead. Barely there. You can hardly see the difference, but there's just a little hint of color, especially when my skin's a little bit more pale like this. This is a very nice practice that I should do more often instead of just slapping bronzer all over. And just doing little layers of this just adds the most lovely wash of color without going overboard. And this shade Travertine is actually like the perfect contour shade for us pale folk. And I love the pencil too because it just makes it, I mean, it's so small and easy for travel if you travel a lot, but also it allows you to be very precise with your placement if you want it. So if you want to contour the nose and whatnot. Does she have nose contour in this? Maybe like a tiny bit, but that actually worked quite well using this bigger brush. I'm not mad at it. I do like very much. My nose just has my little bony knobblies, so it's very hard for me to contour. I don't have that sweet straight bridge like all of these celebs. I'm just gonna do my own little thing here. I'll just rub a little bit of this on my nose and just, you know, we'll just pretend, shall we? Now there's also a tiny little bit of color and warmth in her crease. So I think I'm just gonna do a little bit of this. I'm just gonna use that same shade to just add some color, and that's a fun way to just make sure that your products are working overtime for you. I also really appreciate that she posts very natural photos of the makeup. A lot of celeb makeup artists use like super heavy flash, which please, I love a flash photo, okay? But it'll be heavy flash, which makes it hard to see the actual color of the makeup because flash just changes it so much. It's really hard to see what it actually looks like in person. And then a lot of makeup artists use a lot of filters. I'm like, hello, you are the makeup artist. Why are you like putting a crazy, like basically Facetune filter on this? It's wild, but to each their own. Now I am going to go in with blush just before we go in with any other coverage. I just want to see how we're feeling once the blush is applied. And she does a really like kind of low application here. She really hugs the cheek and kind of barely brings it in, which I love. It's that doll-like vibe. So I'm going to dip my brush into here. I'm using the same brush for all of this. And I'm just going to take a lot of the excess off into the palm of my hand and work it on that and try and really build up the layers. This is the Manassi 7 blush in the shade Duras. So pretty. And this is a different color than the Sadie Sink, but I'm kind of like, I want to use some of the inspo from the Sadie Sink makeup, but also really stick to the cool tones of the Greta makeup look. Oh, because it's so good. And I think she used like warmer tones on Sadie to really complement like the redness in her hair, whereas I think the cool tones will be a little bit better for my skin tone. So I'm really just like hugging the apple of my cheek here. Maybe we can go in with a little bit more concealer after, but just really focusing it right on the apples of the cheeks, bringing it up ever so slightly. But in my interpretation of the Nina Park makeup, it's very much focused here. And once you apply the color, sometimes you just end up naturally applying less coverage overall because you already have some fabulous coverage done with the rest of the products. But we definitely got to do some brightening under the eyes because the eyes are looking crazy. So I'm going to take my Tower 28 concealer. I'm also going to apply this on the back of my hand. And I'm going to try to channel my best makeup artist application here and use very, very small amounts. So I'm just really priming the brush with that. This is a Katie Jane Hughes Spectrum number 10 brush. And I'm just going to really focus and press that where I need it, aka the center of my eye right here. You could use a corrector too if you really felt like that would help. I'm just hoping that a little touch of color here will be enough. But yeah, this gal has been under the weather and it shows right here. Maybe I'll just take a little bit just on some patches of my redness, just like on my chin and right here around my nose. I still have some flakies, you know when you've been sick, but your runny nose is still kind of lingering and then you get the flakes on your nose and I'm like, I'm not hiding this from nobody. Like this is there to stay. So there's still a little bit of redness and dryness there. So again, less is more when it comes to the product. But oh man, yeah, when I do tiny little layers like this, how swiftly we forget how lovely and effective this is. You're using the tiniest bit, but it still makes all the difference. You don't need to pile on layers. It's such a lovely reminder. I'm gonna take this opportunity to apply some setting spray just to let that all soak into the skin, let that sit, the tiny little bits that we've done, and then we'll go into the eyes. So I'm gonna start with this gorgeous like bright cream that's in the inner corner. I love it so much. I'm dipping into my Makeup by Mario palette and using this shade right here. I can't tell if she would have put anything down before this, but I'm hoping that our concealer will be enough. And if we need to brighten it after, we totally can. But it's just really brightening up and focusing that inner corner there. This is a Rephr 02 brush. I love how natural and soft and bright this is. It's kind of almost giving like a little 60s vibe, but it's so light. And even if I'm doing a look that's similar to this, I almost always go in and apply sparkle after. So to have like a true matte finish, just that soft, subtle glam, ugh, I love the effect. And it looks like she kind of brings it up actually. So I'm just really going like above the crease with that. And yeah, it looks bright enough. Again, it's so subtle. It's so soft on here. What I might do is just take this one shade deeper. I don't know if I want to dip there, if that's going to be too much. I'm going to try with this one first and apply that on top of the travertine and see how that looks. That might be too light, but I kind of just want to softly blend that in, set it in. And often when I'm doing looks like this, I also go a little bit too dark. Sometimes we can just really slowly build up layers and add depth if we want to, but it's so much harder to take it away once it's already been applied. So just using really soft layers. If we want to go deeper than that after, we can, but I'm going to leave it there for now. Now for the liner. Now she could totally be using a liquid liner for this. Again, it's very hard to tell, but most of this eyeliner is focused in the inner waterline. And I was zooming in so close on a few of the different ones. And it almost looks like in some of them, she's using a black and then a brown on the inner corner. And I was like, oh, to use two shades here, I wouldn't have thought to do such a thing. So I thought we could try it. One of my favorite pencils actually that I definitely don't talk about enough and I don't give it enough love as I should are the Wayne Goss pencils, the Wayne Goss Kohl pencils. These are so good. I got mine off Beautylish and I have the shade Obsidian and Precious Opal. It's a black and a brown and I'm going to try using these because I think a lot of makeup artists will take the pencil and apply it with a brush. Maybe not on the inner corner. I feel like we can just really easily get in there. I sharpened this to make sure that it was nice and sharp, but I thought it was really cool. And that's something I don't think I've tried before. Using two different liners in my waterlines? What? So very softly, she does this on like everybody. You can zoom in and you see this very soft V. Now, will my eyes be able to tolerate this? Is it gonna look muddy and messy? Maybe, but we're gonna try. So I'm starting with Precious Opal, the brown, and I'm just gonna so softly so softly. Create that line right in the corner. I don't know how she gets it so precise and pointy and to stay. Like, it must not stay, that's the thing. They must do it like right before they walk out, take their photos, and then maybe they do cry it away. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that this would stay like so perfect and pointy, but you get the vibe. Again, whenever I'm doing my own makeup, I'm almost never this careful and precise. It's a nice practice. So I'm almost just like starting with a point right here and then just pulling it in. What does she do with the rest of the lashes? Oh no, it does just end there. Yeah, interesting. She doesn't even go into the rest of the waterline. It does truly just stop there. Maybe we could like softly blend it out with a little brush, but for the brown, that's it. I'll just take this tiny little pointy brush. This is a Rephr 23 brush, and I'll kind of just drag that onto the waterline and blend out the edge, I guess. That's kind of cool. Okay, great. Now let's go in with the black. So we got to make sure that we're doing a proper tight line with this. So I'm going to take this tiny little brush, rub the product off onto it, and I'm going to go and apply this right into my lashes. Ugh, this is a process that always just very much hurts my eyes, and it's so much better if I have my other hand available to hold up my eyelid, but we do not have this luxury right now. So I'm just going to try and press that right up in there. Maybe, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can actually just wiggle a little bit of the pencil in there. Just being so careful, because sometimes if you blink, the pencil will just go across your eyelid, and that's not great. Oh yeah, that's so much easier. Okay. And this is a kohl pencil, so it's very easy to manipulate, but some of my other eyeliners are just a little bit too wet. So if I were to do this, I would blink and it would just instantly transfer and go everywhere, whereas you can see like there's always gonna be a little bit of transfer, which I even saw in some of the photos. It made me feel so much better. But it's just not as watery and obvious. So you can see the difference on the lashes when you do this little tight lining technique. You're like, where's the liner? It's totally undetectable, but then you're just removing that line underneath. It just makes your lashes look instantly fuller. There's so much holding my breath here. So we've got the tight lining down. Now it's time to do the little tiny mini wing. And Nina definitely seems to favor this little baby wing on everybody. And again, I don't know if she's using a liquid liner to do this, but I'm gonna try and just do it with the pencil. So I really wanna make a tiny amount. I'm basically just pulling it like straight out from the corner of our eye. And then I'm gonna take a little brush. This is my favorite little angled brush. And I'm gonna use this to manipulate the product and bring that up. That's very similar. If we wipe away too much product, we can always add more. But I'm just trying to be so soft and precise with this so we don't go overboard. I do feel like a little kitty cat. Wow. This one's a little bit more straight, this one's a little bit more swoopy, but I do feel like that the essence is there. So then I'm going to take a black eyeshadow and go back in with our tiny little brush and press that powder onto the pencil, and that's going to add a little bit of softness to it, but also set it in and make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. The little double eyeliner is like so evident to me on this photo of Emma Stone. You can just really see the brown and then into the black, and she also barely has a wing on that one. We could even clean up the wing a little bit and make it a little bit less intense. I'm just taking a little lip brush and like pressing into the tip of it and then wiping the rest away. And because we have so little makeup on our base, it's like so easy to do that and clean it up and kind of make it perfect, but okay. Okay, great. I'm gonna dip back into that light brown that we used and just use that to set the lower lash line. Actually, on this photo of Emma Stone, it looks like there's almost a light little brown there too. Hers is a little bit more deep. It actually looks like she has some brown eyeshadow on the top too. We could do a little bit of that. We could try it. I'm gonna take a smaller, little fluffier brush. This is the KJH Spectrum number 17 and go in with that slightly warmer shade. And we could do the same. We could just like really lightly now just press that onto the inner corner now that our liner is done. And just so softly like run that along the top. Oh yeah, see, I like that. I'm barely touching, barely. And then that white in the inner corner is still like bright and alive. So then going back to the photo of Greta and just seeing the videos of like Nina Park applying makeup on herself and just like really being there with her hands, I do have a feeling that she like literally presses this onto the face, but I kind of like in this photo of Greta in particular, you can really tell that there's some gorgeous like creamy highlight applied to like this section of the face. And because Nina is still, or was, a Chanel makeup artist, I thought it would be fun to take this Chanel Balm Essentials Sculpting Stick, this gorgeous gorgeous, like very, very creamy, creamy highlight. You can see it literally looks like glass. Like it looks like it's what is on Greta's face here. And taking that into the center of the cheek and kind of applying that up, which is so not how I usually apply my highlight, but just really going in on that. And then maybe even a little bit just on the top of that brow bone right there. Just so lightly, so lightly. We could even push a little bit of that on top of the temples too. What the heck? Why not? Then we'll just continue to pretend that we're getting ready for a red carpet, so we're definitely gonna want some powder, but I'm gonna use a small little brush here. This is an exciting brush that's in development at Rephr actually in the Makeup by Mario. Powder here, and I'm just gonna use a tiny amount of this to just reduce some shine on the inner parts of the face. Just a tiny bit, a little touch of powder all around. I just feel like there's no way that they'd be getting on a red carpet without some powder. Use some brow gel to set up these brows. I love that she loves a good brow, good feathery brow. I'm gonna do a little black mascara duo. This is the Vive Icon mascara. This is the Annabelle Lower Lash Mascara. And I have to say, I love that she does a super minimal mascara look. It doesn't even look like she uses fake lashes, which I think is amazing. It's like the most natural red carpet makeup ever. I love it. Now for the lips, I wish that we knew what it was that she was putting on these glorious, glorious lips. There was one video of her on YouTube saying that she loves Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude, but again, I was just loving the cool tones and the Greta makeup look, which apparently was like part of this Fido branded post, but I wanted to use some of the beautiful products that I do have. So I thought we could try going in with the Katie Jane Hughes KJH brand Etch Stylo to kind of mimic this, and she really does like a soft smudged lived-in lip, which I love. So I'm gonna use this to trace my lips. But she really doesn't seem to do like a defined lip. It's quite lived in, which I love. So I'm gonna take my finger as we go and just kind of blend it in. And she's gone across the Cupid's bow here too. Just kind of blurring the line on the edges of the lips, which just has that like instant plumping effect, which I love. And then again, I have no idea what could possibly be on these lips, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume that like Chanel Boy could just be one of those classic, beautiful favorites that just gives that really glossy, natural, lived-in kind of cool tone nude vibe. And whenever I put this on, or like the Chantecaille Lip Chic and Patience, it just gives that like luxe, rich feeling. I don't know what it is about these cool tones, but they're so beautiful. And out of the two, Chanel Boy is that more cool tone vibe. I do think it's such a good color. It's so good. And this, my friends, is the finished look. And so this is my take on the Nina Park makeup. I would love to hear what you guys think of the look. Just super natural, super lived in, really enhancing the features that are already there. And I just love to see her work, love to see her getting her flowers. Not that she wasn't already trusted and loved by so many across the globe, but I've been loving seeing how many people are recreating the Nina Park makeup looks all over TikTok, all over the web. And so many of you have also been requested that I do this video. So was very thrilled to, honored. Nina, we love you. And this is just another one of those natural glam makeup looks that you can add to your lineup that will just suit any occasion that you have. I think it's so pretty. I think we learned a lot of fun little tips and tricks and techniques in here, and I had so much fun creating it. So thank you so much for being here and for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the look, and I'll see you all tomorrow for a new Laminous video. Bye!